Welcome everyone. This is the Masterclass. My name is Patricknazareth. I have around 30 years of teaching experience and I'm here to help you with your studies should you have any doubts. Today we look at poems by Blake. William Blake was born November the 28th, 1757 in London. He passed away on August the 12th, 1827, still in London. He was an English engraver, an artist, a poet, and a visionary. While he was alive, he was unsung, unhonored. But today we recognize him as the first of the Romantic poets, and we are giving him the respect and admiration that he deserves. We are going to study two poems of his that are linked together, and I shall explain how. The first is the divine image, and the second is the human abstract. These poems explore human nature and spirituality. One is optimistic, looks at us as an image of God and understands that God dwells within us. Whereas the human extract goes into the darker side of human nature. To mercy, pity, peace and love, all pray in their distress, and to these virtues of delight, return their thankfulness. The poet suggests that when we are worried about something, we pray. What do we pray for? We pray for mercy. We pray to find peace. We pray that love return to our life. We pray that God will take pity on us and help us out of our sufferings. When we are granted what we want, we are thankful that we have received these gifts. For mercy, pity, peace and love is God, our Father dear. And mercy, pity, peace and love is man, his child and care. The poet seeks to create a link between God and man. These values, which he values very highly, mercy, pity, peace and love, is but a personification of God, who is our Father in heaven, who looks after all of us. And those very same values he has put into human beings, people like you and me, because we are his children. For mercy has a human heart, pity a human face, and love the human form divine, and peace the human dress. The poet goes on to give each virtue something human, something that we can relate to. He says mercy could be likened to the compassion that we feel within ourselves for other human beings, for other living creatures, within our hearts. When we can understand somebody's suffering, when we look upon somebody else going through a bad period and we can feel that sadness, pity shines on our faces. Love itself is manifested in the human form, since God has made us in his own image. He loved us so much that he made us like him. And the dress of humans is nothing but peace, because we are capable of spreading peace and harmony wherever we go. Then every man of every clime that prays in his distress prays to the human form divine, love, mercy, pity, peace. The poet here says that each and every person in the world, whether he comes from this country, from that country, whether he is living in a cold climate or a hot climate or a temperate climate, whenever they pray, they essentially pray to themselves, because God and man are indistinguishable from each other. Inside each human being exist the virtues of God: love, mercy, pity, and peace. And all must love the human form. In heathen, Turk or Jew, where mercy, love and pity dwell, their God is dwelling too. The poet has first brought forward certain virtues that we all need. He has used these virtues to link us with God. And he has tried to make us understand that when we pray, we are basically praying to the good in ourselves. And if we do that, if you love the human form, you do not care where they are from, what religion they follow. You do not make a distinction between one human being and another human being on the basis of their religion. Inside every human, you will find mercy, you will find love, you will find pity. And wherever you find these virtues, you will find that God dwells too. The next poem, pity would be no more if we did not make somebody poor, and mercy no more could be if all were as happy as we. The poet now takes the virtues pity and mercy and suggests that they themselves are not necessary, they are created by us. If somebody is poor and we are rich, if we have something and they do not have it, we might feel pity for them. We don't need to feel mercy for anyone if everyone was as full of joy as we are. And mutual fear brings peace till the selfish loves increase. Then cruelty knits a snare and spreads his baits with care. The poet goes on to suggest that if we are frightened of something or somebody, perhaps that is the basis of peace. Maybe that is the reason why we have armies at our borders. The threat of guns, the threat of violence is the only way we can feel at peace with our neighbors. But in such an environment, love also gets corrupt. Selfishness grows. People look for power, people look for control. And then cruelty begins to come in. An evil force comes in quietly, slowly, and lays traps. The poet is trying to show us how anything that is good can also be perverted, like religion can be changed in order that people can profit from us. Not the vast majority of people, but a few. He sits down with holy fears and waters the ground with tears. Then humility takes its root underneath his foot. Cruelty, then, it is presented to us as a person who pretends to be very humble, who pretends to cry tears at the sadness that he sees around him. This person maybe goes in front of everybody and shows that he is, oh, such a humble, such a nice person. It's all an act. It is an act that may give rise to humility, but humility in this form is not humility. The poet is trying to show us that how beautiful virtues like humility can be twisted by people in order that they achieve their own ends. Soon spreads the dismal shade of mystery over his head, and the caterpillar and fly feed on the mystery. The poet tries to show religion as a giant tree. We live under the shade of religion. On this tree, however, he says there's a caterpillar and a fly. He is suggesting that there are institutions, there are individuals that feed off organized religion. They feed off the fear, the devotion of people like you and me. They do not know or understand religion, but they use that religion to take something from us. And it bears the fruit of deceit, ruddy and sweet to eat. And the raven his nest has made in its thickest shade. This tree flowers, it gives fruit. The fruit is beautiful. It is even sweet to eat. Is it actually sweet to eat? Is it not actually poison? The poet goes on to say that a raven is a bird of ill omen, a bird of evil. Even the raven has made his home in the tree. The poet is suggesting here that religion itself has been so corrupted that evil has taken over parts of it. The gods of the earth and sea sought through nature to find this tree, but their search was all in vain. There grows one in human brain. When the gods saw how the virtues have been corrupted, they looked all over. How did human beings become like this? How were they able to corrupt these virtues? Did we do something wrong by making them? Then they realized that no, these virtues were not corrupted because of what we as gods gave our creations, but instead it came from the minds of human beings, people like you and me, who used brains for evil, not good. What are the themes that run through this poem then? The poet is presenting these four virtues: mercy, pity, peace, and love. He makes them divine attributes, but he shows how they link us together with the Almighty who made us. He made us in His image. But in the second poem, he shows how these very beautiful virtues can be corrupted. The religions that we follow plants this fear in our mind because we are told if we do this, it is good. If we do this, it is bad. If we do such and such a thing, we shall go to heaven. If we don't do such and such a thing, we shall be punished. The poet is suggesting that organized religion should be removed. The poet is suggesting that religion, instead of becoming a force that should connect us to God, that should make us one in His eyes, is instead being used to divide us, instead being used to keep us in such a state of fear that we forget these beautiful attributes that we all possess. And instead of using them to their fullest, instead of using them in a way that will spread goodness all around, we have corrupted them so badly that they are almost unrecognizable today. That's the end of the lesson. I do hope I have been able to help you. If I have, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. There might be others out there who need our help. Thank you so much for watching.